All right, guys. Good morning. I'm a few minutes late today. Ooh, that one just made a new high. Looking at KULR. Let's share our screen here. Wow, it's a very um these are the stocks I'm looking at today. This is the one specifically that's moving with the high gappers and the ones that move really quick. This is a 30-second chart. The remainder ones are 1 minute. 83.46 on silver, gapped up again. Just incredible moves on silver. That's just something that I can't even fathom. Honestly, I think there's just so much of a squeeze going on in that name that it's very impressive. Um, and so let's see. So here I'm looking for KU Ultram. There's space, almost close to six. And actually, there's a really good play all the way up to right under six. So that could be a good long. Maybe try something down here, sub four, flush everybody out, open, and then kind of watch this thing tick up. So we'll have our eyes on it and see if we can go long. I wouldn't definitely not. I at least I wouldn't short this thing at open. It's moved quite a bit, but it was 345, so it's hasn't moved a whole lot. And the float's not that big. It's about 50 million shares. We've traded about three and a half, so haven't traded a whole lot either. So let's see what that gives us. Um, and so my plan for today will be to look at silver, maybe short it at open. If I switch here, let me switch you guys to my main charting. I think that might be easier to. Let me change you guys up here. Let's see. And let's look at this window instead. There's a lag. I don't know what the lag's about. Um, I'm sure that's annoying. I'll have to look into that. I noticed that too when it streams. It seems like there's this lag on YouTube. Um, so KULR, like I said, I think it could potentially run. Usually they run up to the 200 days. What I've seen on the play, it's already kind of selling off. It's easy to borrow, so it may end up just flushing out. Um, let's see. Let's see what happens. And then for yeah, that's what you know down here 386, but it's moving. It looks good. Um, and then for let's see, silver clear top, but we know how this plays. And yesterday they just held it up. They didn't even do the VWAP test, which was crazy at open. It was just holding up at the what was it, like the 76s or something right here? Yeah, like the 79 60s. And then all of a sudden, the 30 minutes of flushing, and then we retrace. So I actually was short, did go long, got out sub, I think it was like 79 to push to essentially VWAP, which was like 79.45 or 50. And then I actually got long thinking we were going to test up to here and ended up taking a decent hit on that last position. So over traded, paid the price. That's what happens. Um, that's why I don't recommend doing that. Over trading is bad. And so right now, clearly there's a top, most likely be a squeeze. I mean, I could see this thing running to at least 84.50. It usually has about a $2 spread. So let's kind of see where it wants to go from here. Um, Besides that, App 11's coming back pretty strong, I would say. I've been impressed with the move. I mean, it was up to almost close to 700. So I mentioned to you guys that even though there was this flush candle, I was still bullish on the stock, and I see it being kind of like an Nvidia SMCI. It's going up to 1,000. I mean, that stock that runs from 60 to 600 in a year is it's not slowing down anytime soon. So that's what I would still be looking at. Um, maybe a buy right here around the 655, and then see if this upper resistance there is sort of stays. It looks like it's right here, right at the 675, because it looks like there's sellers here, right? So if you can't hold a level, there's someone selling up here. And so until they're gone, so sometimes when they're selling, right, they drive the stock significantly down. And so this is where, you don't want to buy. That's why a lot of times when people buy breakouts, they lose, right? Because there's the seller still there. So just be careful with this one. It does move, significantly, a lot of points. I mean, yesterday we had, almost 40 points spread. So if you're on the wrong side, you could potentially lose a lot of money. You could potentially also make a lot of money. So, let's see what else. Tesla, I traded a small size yesterday, just a little retrace play right here. When I saw that it had bottomed, and so just a retrace play up to here to 447. Nothing too crazy. Looks like we're selling off today. Let's look at our daily for Tesla. Okay, so it looks like we're testing on around the 50-day support. We still haven't really tested the 20. So yeah, I mean this thing doesn't really follow any patterns, and everyone's looking at the same spot. So I don't know about going long Tesla. It looks like it gapped down, looks weak today. So you may end up seeing a retrace, easily back to 436. So this is again a stock I mentioned to you guys. I will not trade it for the first 15 minutes. It's too wild. It's all over the place. It's very unpredictable. And so I would, I mean, this is the level I'm looking at personally, but I would wait for confirmation before entering any trade. We're still in negative momentum and not really even ever oversold. So this still can, make its way down here, right? Close to 367. And we kind of saw this with App Lovin, right? With that sort of, this isn't really a valid support, right? This is just this is a bounce, final squeeze, and then it comes out. And so a lot of times people will treat this as a valid support, and realistically this was trying to failed to fail, made a new high, and now it's making its way back down. So maybe initially you could look at this level, but I look at more like where the breakout happens, like see that level right there, like 357, right? So you have a topping, and then you have a breakout from that. Now if these candles were right here, right, then that makes sense. But see, clearly that's where the goal was, and they held it, and then they ran it. So I just think it continued to downtrend, guys. So I got caught in a long, I think somewhere here for a bounce, and this is what happens if you hold on to Tesla. You go from essentially 500 down to the low fours. So cut it, not worth it, not worth it. I don't think we're going to test the 20-day. So that's kind of the trade plan, guys. Really looking at SLV, looking at KULR, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll keep an eye on Tesla and see what it wants to do if it does come down to that 435. There is one other stock that I was looking at was Beam, as a continuation play. This thing does not look like it's done, and so I may just buy a small size share, and the play that I see is up to 38. There's a lag in my computer. Yeah, it's right up here to the anchored VWAP, so like 38. So there's a few points there. So maybe, give up potentially like 50 cents. So maybe cut it at like 34 and look at buying along what I think could be a really good trade, breakout trade. So let's see what this thing wants to do, but it's definitely holding trend. So yeah, it's an interesting market we're in. But with that, guys, that's what I would be looking at, is just purchasing, in the 34s, and then like I said, seeing a run up to the 38. That's the play there. And then KULR, like I mentioned, I wouldn't I wouldn't short it on the back end, on the front end, excuse me. I would wait, squeeze out all the shorts, and let's get up, closer to 6. I think that this is I will be going long on the stock, and we'll just kind of wait to see sort of how this thing opens, but I would not be shorting the stock and open. It's easy to borrow. It's 50 million shares. Like, they got a new contract for batteries. So let's see how that works. And yeah, that's it. Best of luck trading today, guys. Thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow.